Hi, I'm Brent Johnson, and today I'm at Central Presbyterian Church in St. Louis, Missouri. With me is Matt Mazzoni. You're the organist here at Central Pres?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And director of music, I assume, is your
Correct.
title? Very good. And we are sitting here at the console of a 1988 Casavant organ. How many ranks is in this instrument?
This is 52 ranks.
52 ranks, and it's all here in the front of the church.
Yep.
On 3 manuals. Well, I'm interested to hear some of it. Let's just start with the grate. We have some pipes in the facade. Is that part of our grate principle?
Yeah, so the grate is over on the left side, and the pipes you see is the bottom of the grate principle. And so this is what we have there.
And that's called a mantra. We have lots of French terminology here on this.
Basically French
Canadian organ.
Yes.
So that makes sense. All right, so going up from the mantra, we then have a 4-foot press stent on top of that. Very nice, and that goes on up to a 2-foot doublet. Yeah, it's very bright and clear. It doesn't add a whole bunch of bright, screamy treble to that 2-foot. It's just a nice, clear little fluty sort of sound.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's a mixture that goes up to 6 ranks there, furniture on top.
Yep, 4 to 6.
That adds a lot of brightness to it.
Yeah,
That really carries
it's very
it over.
full. It's very full. And you have the rather warm principle too, sort of on. It's that sort of French, slightly stringy kind of sound.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, and then we have a set of flutes here, starting with a 16-foot Borden, actually. It's a big round Borden, good, great flute sound. And then a flute à cheminée, a chimney flute that goes 8 foot. Oh, that's lovely. And then a 4-foot open flute, flute ouverte on top of that. And we have a tremolo in the grate, which is always handy. I assume that trims. Does that trim everything? Or
It
just
trims
the
everything.
flutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so.
Let's hear the flutes with that tremolo on.
Sure.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Now I skipped over one. I didn't pay attention to the fact there's actually a flute harmonique
Right, there's a
available there. So let's hear that. Yeah, very different from the chimney flute.
Yes, very different.
It's nice to have both of those in there. And then finally we have a 3-rank cornet, 2 and 3 ranks.
And
there.
so that's meant to go on top of
the chimney
all of that.
flutes and the flute.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, very clear and colorful. I like it.
Clear, colorful. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
It projects really well into the space.
I'm listening. You already got some good solo voices there in the grate that you could trim or not trim, and they all blend together really well.
Yeah.
So,
This organ has a lot in the mutation department.
Okay.
This being the first one that we found. So
very good. Well, you were accompanying that with the Borden and the Positive. Let me hear that now by itself. And the Borden's over here. Or that
so the
Positive's on the right
Positive's
side.
on this side.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So we have a 4-foot flute à cheminée there as well. So let's
Right.
hear that with the Borden. Lovely. All right, and then we have some principles in this Positive as well.
Right, and so that's the facade pipes on this side of the principal on in the Positive. So.
And also called a mantra, which is appropriate for being out here in the front. And then, just like the grate, we have a 4-foot press stent on top of that. Nice. And then 2-foot principal Italienne. So let's see how that sounds. It's a little brighter, as I would expect.
It is a little brighter,
Positif
yeah.
2-foot.
Yeah, the Positif is sort of a little cousin of the great. And it's not under expression as it would be expected in a Positif. So it's definitely a quirk of this organ. You have one division under expression in the swell,
Just
and
the
then,
swell.
you know, you have to work with what you have for the rest.
Well, going on up, we can add a quint 1 1/3 to the top of that ensemble. And then complete it with a 4-rank cymbal mixture there. That's a bright mixture.
That is a bright mixture, yes.
It's very full, and it caps that ensemble very well.
Yeah,
so I can see how that stands up to the great then.
Right, it really does.
For echo effects or something.
Yeah, they do a little. You can do a little antiphonal sort of quality between those two.
And then we have some reeds here in the Positif division. So I see 2, one at 8, one at 16 and 8. We'll start with the Krummhorn.
Right, Krummhorn, right.
Yeah, big bold French sound.
Big, bold fret, very colorful
Yeah.
kind of character. It does blend very nicely, so you can take some of that edge off by adding some different 8-foot level. Even this kind of works.
Yeah,
It
put a
does.
mantra with it.
You can warm it up a bit.
Yeah,
and
add some different colors to it.
get some of that buzz out of it a little bit in that way. Yeah.
Well, then we have a Trompette Royale.
Yes, this
All
is
right.
the big.
I assume this is what we're going to
This is the right, and you can see it's pointing straight out at
it's
you.
right there at the front.
Yes,
All right.
yes, and it's at the 8 and 16-foot level. So it's
That's a big sound.
that is a big sound. Yes, that works over the tutti organ.
Yeah, I
but-
can imagine over the full grade.
Right,
But it's not a real edgy French sound. It's a nice warm, loud.
Yeah,
sound.
it has warmth, and it's in the tenor octave. It kind of has a lovely for him accompanying. You know. You can use it for like a final verse of a hymn,
yeah,
getting a
right.
little bit of that tuba effect.
Indeed.
I think nicely.
Does it actually go down to a full 16?
No, I mean it stops at C, so it plays at 16, but it doesn't go
It goes down below.
all the way down there.
Well, we jumped over in the great. There's a reed in there as well, and that's just a trumpet. Let's hear that in comparison.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a much brighter, more French sound, but not nearly as loud as the trumpet.
No,
Royale.
no, and again that colors out that great ensemble.
Definitely.
But you always know it's there when you pull it on. It doesn't hide. So, and it works nicely as a solo stop too, in its own way.
Well, from there, let's go over to the Récy, which is our swell division in this organ. Let's start. We have a flute majeur, a big flute, 8-foot flute there on the swell. Let's hear that one.
Sure.
Yeah, very warm sound there. And then that's topped by a flute à fuseau, 4-foot. It's very lovely. It's very warm and smooth, but full as well.
Yeah,
So, and,
yeah.
And of course, you can close that down and you
Right.
get a nice gentle.
Right, and it's a nice foil to some of the other flutes in the organ.
Yeah, you can see that. And
Smoother.
yeah, sure. And then we have a pair of strings as well. Starting with our violon at 8-foot. And it's accompanying Voce Umana, the Celeste. lovely smooth strings there. And I'm guessing if you take the flute majeur and the violon, you probably get something akin to a principal sound.
Certainly fattens it up a bit.
It's still pretty fluty, though.
Yeah, it's pretty fluty. It is pretty fluty. There's nothing truly principal at the 8-foot level there, but you can at least, again,
fatten the sound up.
Get some fat sound that will go with some other things too.
Well, then to brighten it up, we do have a 4-foot principal, which is very typical in the swell. Yeah, even with the violon there, that's a convincing 8/4 sound.
Yeah.
To fill that up. And then there's a 2-foot that goes on top of that, the Corte de Nazard.
Right. So makes a nice little ensemble there. Yeah.
And then we jumped over, there's a Nazard in between that allows you to fill up the ensemble a little bit.
Oh, sure. Right. So within that.
Although that's very fluty, as opposed to the 4-foot principal and the Nazard. So you would probably use that with your tierce and your flutes to get a nice cornet in the swell, I would assume.
Sure, and you can build it off the flutes as well. I think they're
yeah. Let's try that.
Off the flutes.
Off just the flutes, 8/4 flutes, and then with the 2 2/3, 2-foot and 1 1. Bright. I can see you've definitely got 3 steps of ensemble here from swell, positive, and grand orgue.
Right, and there's many ways, obviously, to fiddle with those.
Yeah, you
composition.
Take things out or add the principal.
Right.
Very nice. And then finally, there's a plangeux, a 5-rank mixture in the swell. So we have mixtures in every division in this organ.
Yes. So, and that is at the 2-foot. So it does kind of fill in this gap between the violon and the 4-foot principal. So just these alone.
Yeah, that's a full ensemble.
It is a full ensemble.
3 stops. There.
Sure, and then you can pull the flutes with that.
And it gets even bigger. Very nice. All right. And then we have a couple of reeds here. 3 reeds.
Yep.
Right, so we start with an 8-foot oboe there.
Yep.
Very nice. So then we have an 8 and 16-foot reed here. They're a unit, and it's called trumpet harmonique. Let's hear it at 8-foot. Another big, bold French trumpet there.
Yes.
And then that's available at 16 as well.
16 foot.
It's called a bombard. Let's hear that. Big rich sound.
Nice rich sound. Yeah, big reedy sound here on the swell.
And then an independent 4-foot clarion harmonique is called. So let's hear the whole ensemble. That's a big swell sound.
It is a big swell sound. Yeah, you add just a few principals and reeds to that, and you get
quite an ensemble.
In the mixture, you get quite a full ensemble.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. But very versatile. You can combine things in lots of different ways there.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine.
And everything blends very happily with it for the most part. I mean, you can always get in trouble, but
well, that's what's part of the fun. So
yes,
let's look at our pedal division.
Sure.
So we have a 16-foot contrabass.
Right.
And as you would expect, some of these things are borrowed from the manual, but there are some independent ranks here.
There's four independent pedal ranks, and so 16-foot contrabass.
Yeah.
The bottom 12 pipes are wood, and then so a big open wood on the bottom, and then goes into the 8-foot.
Yeah, it's very clear, but it's not overwhelmingly loud or anything. But it's got a nice full bass sound.
Yeah.
And then it goes on up to a 4-foot.
So again, the 4-foot is independent, but it's another.
tell the forefoot's on the other side of the organ.
Yeah, so the pedal division's all over back there.
Okay.
It's this kind of this had to be built into existing chambers, and so it's spread kind of every way. But there's a second level in the grate side, and so the pedal forefoot and the pedal mixture live upstairs.
I see.
Over there.
Well, let's put the mixture on and see how the whole ensemble sounds.
Sure.
It's a 5-rank mixture. So once again, we have mixtures in every division.
Mixtures in every division, and that's it has a tierce on the top.
Yeah, I heard.
Which so you can hear sort of that
difference.
Cornet quality. Yeah, brings up the reed colors a little bit, and it just gives it a characteristic sound. So.
And then we have all of the reeds borrowed from the other divisions, but there's a trumpet. Is that independent?
There's a trumpet, trombone, and contra trombone that are a unit.
So we have a 32-foot unit.
32-foot unit.
Let's hear the bottom of that.
Starting with the 16-foot.
It's a good trombone sound. It's a little more mellow than that.
It's a little more mellow,
bombard and the swell.
Right, and then it goes up to the 8-foot.
Yeah, and actually, you do have the swell bombard available if you do want that.
You do. You can bring that down.
That
so
brighter sound.
Yeah, actually, and this organ. It's the lesser of the two reeds.
It's softer, but it's got a little more edge to it.
Yeah, it does. It's a different color, but you can of course close it down.
And then it goes all the way down to 32.
Right, and it's a half-length resonator.
Okay.
So. So rumbling away down there, and so putting them all together.
Under the ensemble,
it works nicely, and certainly with the rest of the pedal division.
And then one more stop, we have a bass acoustique, which I'm guessing is a resultant.
It is. It's derived off of the contrabass.
Unfortunately, our microphones frequently can't pick that up because, but it's really effective.
It actually does result.
It does what it's supposed to do.
It gives you some rumble. So there is a little Zimmelstern.
Zimmelstern. We gotta have this.
There is a Zimmelstern,
and it's operated by a toe piston. Spoon, rather. Very nice.
Yeah, so don't always remember that it's there. You have to really hunt to find it, but there it is.
You've got it, you need it. You need it.
Yes, absolutely. So,
all in all, a very nice instrument. It's got a lot of different colors. You can play with a lot of different layers of ensembles. So there's a lot of mixing and matching that I imagine happens, trying to get things just perfect for whatever you need.
Right. Yeah.
So getting into the organ chamber, you come up the stairs here in the church hallway, and there is a door that opens directly into the chamber. You see some old pipes there from the old organ. Pedal reed is immediately to your left, and we look under and can see regulators for the grate and the pedal division. There's a power supply, and we have pressures notated here on the wall for the different divisions. So to get into the instrument, we have to crawl under the grate first, and a little walkboard has been placed here to make it easier to get over the wind lines. And then once we're in there, there's a little spot with a ladder around the back of the swell. There's another look at the pedal reed, the 16-foot. So we go up the ladder, and there's a walkboard here that's next to the Great Division. So we go up the ladder, and we're on the walkboard. The Great Reed is right in front of us. The pedal borden is there behind us. We're looking down on lots and lots of pipes here. We've got the Great Mixture. The 2-rank cornets there, the doublet, 4-foot flutiviert, and then the harmonic flute. And then beyond that, we see the prestant and the flute à chamonix in between them there. And the back of the facade on the left side as you look from the sanctuary. Now there are pipes above us, and there's a walkboard immediately above where we're standing, and these trumpet pipes had to be engineered to go through the walkboard because they're taller than the space here. So we're going to go up the ladder. There's a little peak there. The only thing we have up here is the pedal mixture and the 4-foot octave of the principal. And it's very close to the ceiling in here. And then, of course, our great trumpet sticking up there in the back of the pedal borden. Now, moving back around to the ladder, we can find the door into the upper level of the swell, and that's where we are now. There's a quick look in there. We have the roar flute, the 4-foot flute, the 2 2/3, the 2-foot, the tierce, and then the oboe here at the back. And then the 16-foot pipes from below are coming up behind the walkboard there. Now we're going back out on the ladder, and behind the pedal pipes there's some engineered steps here. These have been added after the fact that allow you to go up and over and into the choir. There's another way, and that's actually to go down, so that's what we're going to do. Now we've gone down, and we're in the lower part of the swell. So we're right below where we just were. And down here we have the 8 and 4-foot reeds, as well as the strings and the mixture. See, the mitered pipes have been tied to keep them from falling over. Our Schwimmer regulator for the chest above. You can see the mechanism here for reversing the swell motor action so that the swell shades open in opposite directions of each other on either side of the chamber. They're not visible from the room, but it's still nice that they do that. So out and back onto the ladder, and we're going to go down. And we're right where we started here, underneath the grate. So we've come down from the swell, and with the organ turned off, the regulator's deflated. It makes for a little pathway that one can cut through, and you have to trust me, we fit through there. And we came out on the other side. Here's our relay and all of the wiring junctions, and then a facade chest here, as well as the royal trumpet, which is right behind the facade. And the blowers for the organ are right here in this box. There's actually 2. There's one down in that box. That's the high-pressure blower. As we can see, it goes to its own regulator, and that feeds the tuba chest, which is up above it. And then the walkboard for the choir is up above our head, and we can see there's some changes have been made to it so that you can lift it up and go through that way rather than going up and over. So from underneath, if we just lift that walkboard and push it out of the way, we can go up into the choir. And here we are. There's our chrome horn here at the back for easy access. And that's the side of the swell box where we just were. All right, we're going back down. We're by the blowers again. We have to go back through this little pathway, and once we've made it, we're coming back out, and that's the organ.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for showing us this wonderful 1988 Casavant organ, 52 ranks, 3 manuals and pedal. What was here before?
So prior to this, there was a Kilgan organ that was built with the church in 1930. It was about 25 ranks. And that lasted, it was rebuilt in the 70s a bit and expanded, but by the 80s, its time had come.
So this was a very different departure,
yes,
I'm sure.
My predecessor, Phil Rowland, was the inspiration behind bringing this instrument here to Central. And it created a very colorful instrument, blends very beautifully with itself, and is at home in a lot of repertoire.
I can imagine. Well, thank you for letting us bring our cameras in today. And thank you for watching. If you would like more information, there's a link to the specification of the organ down in the description, as well as links to the church website and to Casavant's website. And remember, if you would like streaming classical organ music 24 hours a day, you can visit our 3 streaming stations, OrganLive.com, Positively Baroque, and The Organ Experience. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Organ Media Foundation and help us make more videos like this one, you can do that at organ.media and click on support. Thank you for watching. I'm Brent Johnson. I'll talk to you next time.